I'm going to show you the difference. It's pretty insane, actually. Okay, so I purposely did not feed my chickens this morning because I knew that I wanted them all to come running. Because if we're going to eat a product that they create, let's make sure we're giving them something good, right? Hey friends, welcome back to A Homesteading Hustle. My name is Sarah, and today we're going to chat about chicken feed. So we have had chickens for 8 years. We got our first set of 6 chickens in March of 2015. It is now October 2023, and we have learned a lot about chicken food, egg-laying hens, and the like. So today I just want to share with you a little bit about the feed that we choose to give our chickens and how we stretch the dollar on that feed and how we make do with such a large flock. So when we first started out and we had 6 chickens, we lived on a different property and we had access to a somewhat of a chain. It wasn't one of the large chains that it's across the US, but they had multiple locations, and they carried a really great organic feed there. They had organic, they had no soy, which is huge. When it comes to chickens. I'll explain why in just a moment. And we made sure that we chose organic feed right away for our chickens. We knew that we were getting egg layers and we wanted to have a high quality product. Fast forward to the property we're on today. We moved here in 2019 and we had increased from 6 chickens to 20 chickens, and now we have probably around 60 chickens on the property currently. And so we have to make sure that we are really efficient with what we're feeding our chickens. Now we do sell some of our eggs, so we want to make sure that we provide a high quality product and something that people are going to come back for, and as well as, of course, providing for our own family. And so we wanted to keep up with that organic feed, but problem is our local agriculture store does not carry organic feed. There is not enough of a demand for them to carry it here. Now, over the years, we have tried to figure out how to make our local feed a bit more nutrient dense. And so we have added in, we've added in whole bags of oats, like whole oats, sunflower seeds, and we've made sure to include grubs or mealworms into their diet. Those are all really great sources of protein, as well as their own chicken eggs, which sounds bizarre, but giving your chickens their own eggs is a really great source of protein. So if you have chickens, obviously if you are watching this, you probably have chickens. You have some that are just too dirty, or they have a ding in it, a hole or a crack or whatever. Just cook those up and give them back to your birds. You don't really want to give them raw egg because that can kind of lead to some poor behavior if they realize where that raw egg comes from. It's better to cook those eggs, but just scrambling them, mix them in with their, the feed for the day, or just give them a whole plate of hot eggs. That is a spoiled chicken right there. All those are great sources of protein to add into their diet. So I want to show you our local scratch feed, and I want to show you why that's not a great choice for a sole source of food for your chickens. I'm going to show you what we do to doctor it up, as well as the company that we love to incorporate into our chickens' diet so that we can ensure that they have not only a complete whole grains and whole food in their diet, but the right amount of protein to provide an excellent, steady source of eggs for us. But first, let's go give the chickens a little snack. Okay, so I purposely did not feed my chickens this morning because I knew that I wanted them all to come running. True story. Come on! How many chickens are going to be smart enough to come? So we legit don't know the exact number of chickens we have, but I would safely say it's over 50. These girls, oh, they're smart. So they are going through their fall molt. So some of them, you might notice that they're missing some feathers and they look a little spotty. That is typical for chickens. especially in cold climates. So we are in northern Minnesota, and at the change of seasons here, the chickens will molt their older feathers to get new ones that are fresh and ready for winter to keep them nice and warm. These are a grub or a mealworm. Chickens love these and are an excellent source of protein. Okay, so these really large 50-pound bags of feed come from our local agriculture store. Now we have a scratch grain here. We have a whole bag of just whole oats, as well as a bag of the sunflower seeds. I think the black oil sunflower seeds. So they're usually the black oil sunflower seeds. These are great sources of protein and just vitamins and minerals for your chickens. Now, these do come from our local store, but none of it's organic. And I'm going to show you why this scratch grain is really not that great. So this bin right here is where we mix our chicken food. So if we're not pulling straight from a bag, we're mixing it in this large, it's actually just a garbage can. A tight fitting lid would be great, but it's not outside currently, so it's okay. But I'm going to show you, we have just a little bit of just the local scratch grain in here, and I'm going to show you what it is. Okay, so this is the local scratch grain, and I'm going to get really close. Now we have added, actually my husband did add oats to this. But if you can see here, see if I can get it really close for you. This is going to be a lot of corn, a lot of really small crumbles. This is only an 11% protein, and you really need a solid 18% for a really great egg layer. So this is lacking. So we've added the oats, and that already helps. But then we can add in the black sunflower to help. Let's open a brand new bag, and I'll show you what a brand new bag looks like. Okay, so here is the local, and this one, it looks like they did add in some black sunflower seeds. So they don't always do that. Most of the time, as you can see here, it is mostly corn. So they did add in some sunflower. There's another little grain in there. It might be millet. But it is a lot of corn. Corn is actually not great for chickens. And really honestly, it's not great for any animal because corn is a sugary carbohydrate and the body actually doesn't break it down very well. For the most part, it actually doesn't have very much nutrients in it, and it can make your chickens actually fat and sometimes obese. They can be fatty chickens. They'll become really lazy, not great foragers if you have free-range chickens. And the corn as well as soy can also slow the absorption of vitamins and minerals. And that's especially true for soy. Now, I don't know if you knew this, but soy is a heavily genetically modified and sprayed crop. It's not a great crop. And it has a source of estrogen in it, and it can raise estrogen in not only humans, but it can raise it in chickens as well. And that actually can slow down the absorption of proper vitamins and minerals. So if you give your chickens a heavy diet in corn, and if it's not soy-free, like if they have added soy in there, if it's processed with soy, you can actually inhibit your chicken's ability to thrive, really. So definitely want to avoid soy and a ton of corn. I mean, yes, we incorporate corn in because corn is it's a good filler. But it's really not super healthy for your chickens or any animals. If you've ever looked into corn for, beef cattle and all that, a solely corn-fed animal is not a healthy animal. Okay, now this is the fun part. This is where I get really excited about chicken food because this company right here, Scratch and Peck Feeds, they're the company that we found earlier this year. Their feed is complete. It is absolutely beautiful. It is complete. It is 100% organic, and we are incredibly excited to add this into our feed. So we have had this all summer, and we've mixed it into our feed, but we've tried to stretch our dollar because we have so many chickens. We really have to make sure we make every bit count. So if we had, a small flock of maybe 10, 15 chickens, we would solely buy Scratch and Peck feeds. It is all your chickens need. It is a complete protein. They sell it in 16% or 18% protein, and the original doesn't come with corn, but you can get added corn if you want. And so you have that option. Their entire line is no soy, and they just recently rebranded, and so they have some new designs, which will be much easier to determine what you're finding and what you're getting on their website. So they have layer pellets, which I have some layer pellets here. I have layer pellets here. These are going to be great for winter. We really like to give the chickens pellets in their run because they don't make a mess with it. They just eat, pellets individually, same as like crumbles. This is going to be their organic feed. I love this feed, and I'm going to show you why. And I'm going to compare it to the local scratch feed, and I'm going to show you why if you want your chickens to have a solid scratch that's a whole food, definitely the Scratch and Peck is the way to go. I'm going to show you the difference. It's pretty insane, actually. Okay, so I'm going to open this bag right here, and I'm going to show you the quality that this company provides for your chickens. You know what? I actually have one open. I actually have one almost empty. Maybe we'll go open that one, but it's always fun and satisfying to pull this. Like, oh my gosh. When you get that on the first try, that is so satisfying. Am I wrong? Okay, so when we look in here, I'm going to bring this over side by side here. Oh, all right. Okay, so this is a complete protein-based feed. You can give this solely to your chickens as their main feed source. So you can see the quality in here, the different variety. You have, your different grains. These are whole food, raw ingredients, how we should be eating as humans. Let's do that for our chickens too. Let's give them high quality food, because if we're going to eat a product that they create, let's make sure we're giving them something good, right? Okay, so this is your Scratch and Peck feeds. Super amazing source. 100% complete, this one. This one is the local ag store. This is almost all corn. There's definitely not a complete protein. That is why we have to add things to this, which is fine. If you want to buy one complete source, Scratch and Peck feeds is the way to go. I'm going to mix a bunch of these in this. Since we're really low in our feed container here, I'm going to actually mix some of these together to show you exactly how we do it to make sure that we get a good mix. Here's another thing that we do. As I'm standing here, I realized that my husband put the sunflowers that we grew, he has them all laying out here. So I picked them the other day and I pulled them off of the main stalk, and we're going to dry them out. And you can see my phone will, there we go. So we will dry these out, and once those are dry, we will add those to our chicken feed as well. Or sometimes we'll just toss the whole heads out to the chickens. But these take a little while to dry. We would hang them, we just didn't get to it. Hanging them is the best way to get these to dry out without any mold or issues. You don't want any mold in your flock, but definitely grow yourself some sunflowers if you have chickens. I'm gonna pull this back a little bit so you can see. So I'm going to start out and I'm going to add in just a little bit of each of the bags from my local feed store. Okay. So we're going to mix all of that together. It's easiest to do this in batches and layer it in. Okay, so this is already a really great source here. So now we have, we have our mixture of corn from the General Scratch. We have our whole oats. We have our black sunflower seeds. Now let's add in some Scratch and Peck. Now we have our Scratch and Peck here, and then we have our home mixed grain, and now we're going to give that a stir. This is incredibly nutrient dense. Now look at that variety. Your chickens will be happy campers with that. As a chicken owner for 8 years, I can honestly say that this is probably the most quality feed that we've ever had for our chickens. Even the organic, no soy feed that we used to buy when we first got chickens doesn't compare to the quality that Scratch and Peck Feeds provides. So with the rebranding that Scratch and Peck Feeds just did this fall, they're offering our subscribers a nice little discount. I will leave that down in the pinned comment as well as the description for you to check out. If you just want to try it just to see, do your chickens even like it? Do you like it? Is it sustainable for your family? If you have a small flock, I highly recommend it. If you have a large flock, you can definitely get it like we do and incorporate it in. If you have a large flock like we do, you can mix it in, incorporate it into your, your local Scratch. You can mix it in with your oats. If you want to buy bags of peas, they do offer some bulk bags of different types of grains as well. But I really suggest their pre-mixed bag of 16 or 18% protein for your flock. And you'll have amazing, happy chickens, healthy chickens that lay amazing eggs for you.